Today's podcast is incredibly close to our hearts. As Sean and I welcome someone who embodies the resilience and incredible positivity. Please join me in welcoming Rohit Kapur, a remarkable friend and inspiration to our podcast. Welcome, Ro.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. A little bit about me. You introduced my Duchenne muscular dystrophy, but I don't let that define me. A couple passions of mine include writing, technology, and music, all types of music, mainly from the 80s. But I'm very happy to be here.
Sharon, welcome aboard.
Hi, Ro. Welcome to our podcast. It's good that we have you. I've been a fan of your writing. I follow you on Medium, and that's how I've gotten to know you over the past couple of years. So, though physically limiting, right? DMD has been physically limiting for you. How have you overcome this aspect of it, and how do you keep your mind and wit sharp, right? Your writing and your curiosity alive despite this?
So basically, I enjoy reading a lot of different authors, mainly positive authors, just because I've had a lot of setbacks in my life and they're out of my control, obviously. So, I can either dwell and be angry all the time, or my life experiences, I think, learning about all types of all walks of life and from different people's experiences helps me not only learn in my own life, but it also helps me assist other people dealing with the similar issues, and it helps me be a support for them, which actually in turn makes me feel better about my own situation.
You use a variety of tools for your writing, for your reading. What are some of the tools that enable you to write blogs, to read and things like that?
With my disease, it limits and weakens all muscles in the body. So currently I have neck movement and a little bit of hand movement. So there's actually a device on the market. It's called Glass House. And basically it's a cursor I put on my forehead, and I can move my head left and right. And I have a clicker in my left hand. And so basically I just type very quickly just with my head movement. And I've tried using dictation, but it becomes a little difficult at times. So I prefer typing my own blogs.
So, Rohit, the question I have is, or if you can take us through your typical day.
My average day would start, I get up around 10 a.m. and I usually have to do a breathing treatment at that time. And then I have a caregiver that assists me get into my wheelchair while he assists me with my teeth, brushing my teeth, toileting, showering, because I need complete assistance with my daily routine. And then what I do for work, so I work from home as a marketing manager for a automotive supplier. So basically how to reach out to new clients. I have a tube feed that makes sure I don't lose weight because I can't keep up with the caloric intake needed. But luckily, I live in a time where all these machines and technology are available on the market, so the disease becomes easier to manage.
Let me ask you this. Food part. What's your favorite cuisine? What you love to eat?
Oh, I'm an Indian at heart when it comes to food, but mainly any Asian cuisines are my favorite. I like them because they're not as carb intensive. Pretty much stick to vegetarian, but we'll eat chicken here.
What do you risk, Rohit? What do you see as risks that you take?
So I think the number one risk I take is being vulnerable out there with everyone, because without that vulnerability, there's no room for growth. You need to share your raw self to this world, and obviously sometimes the feedback isn't great or you're harshly judged, but without putting yourself out there, there's really no purpose to life. You can keep to yourself and not really enjoy what this life has to offer. But then I don't really see the point of being on such a beautiful planet where there's so much suffering out there. I think if you can be a beacon of hope, that's a huge, huge success story. And if you can help others get there on their own, then I think that is the greatest legacy you can leave behind.
Since we are talking about your writing and the content role, I was reading one of your articles on Medium since I'm also there. It says, though the path has been mountainous, I would not trade the lessons learned. A self reflexive mind is one I would not trade for the cure. What do you mean by a self-reflexive mind?
So I feel like due to all the hardships I've been through in my life, whether it's surgery after surgery or just dealing with day to day, how do I have enough energy to get through today? I don't think I would have gotten to the same thought process if I didn't have this disease holding me back or pulling me back. But also, I would not be looking for that growth in my life. And the way I see that is, I see people my own age who, are content in their life. They have the job and the family and all things I want. But the greater aspect is I always want to grow and keep using my brain, not only to help myself get through things, but also help other people that maybe haven't had to go through this thought process, or maybe their hardships haven't hit them yet. And so if I can be, or my articles can be a support for them to get through stuff later in life, such as cancer or things we will all face at some point in our lives, even just aging, well, then I think I wouldn't trade that for not being able to think things through.
The family and the support structure around you, what does that mean for you? And, how it has enabled your life, how it has helped your life?
I think it has excelled my life. So I used to go to a summer camp for kids with muscular dystrophy, and I went from the age of about 8 to 17. And there you could see the differences in the care that I received, because my parents and siblings were always one step ahead. Hey, what comes next? How do we prolong Rose's life? And so I and family have always pushed to take the steps very early in life and not delay. So say I even had a minor fever or whatever minor illness that I feel is coming, I don't wait. I go directly to the hospital. And if it's nothing, then they send me home, and no harm, no foul. But I've seen other people that don't put this as seriously as my family has, or the care that I've received starting at the age of 6 that kids don't get till the age of 18. And so that decline by the time they're adults is so great that the life expectancy ends up getting cut short.
So, Rohit, I know you shared this with me, I think, a couple of weeks back, and Ravi and Minty also mentioned this to me. Lately, you have got into Gita. I know you started reading it. Could you just give a little bit of flavor? What are your learnings out of it, just generally speaking?
A couple learnings are, I think as long as you don't stay still in your mental growth, I think is very, very beneficial, not only for your mental being, but also your physical being. I think soul searching is very important. So feeding your soul and not so much your senses is what I like about it, in this sense that I always want to give back to society and to other people that haven't had all the benefits I've got in my life due to the familial support or the friend support. As you know, we have such a large family and friends group here that I always know I have so many people to share with and get advice from, and that to me is everything. And that is basically what the Gita has started to teach me.
So since you are physically limited, right, do you sometimes miss the aspect of physical love, and how do you deal with that?
Over the years, yes, it has been a difficult aspect of my life to deal with in the sense that I put myself out there, but there are a lot of barriers to entry in the sense that I can't really drive up to someone, and there's a lot of judgment that comes with being in this position, the next generation. My hope is that they will interact with people like me and not feel so much barrier to entry in the sense that, like, the next generation, seeing people with disabilities as just human is the number one step we can take. And I think that will go a long way in integrating this, and maybe people will be more open to having relationships with people that are differently able than themselves.
So, Rohit, let me switch gears now and let me move to your friends. I'm sure you have a lot of friends within the group we move around, and also your Ross Business School friends. Just talk a little bit about your friends.
So having a disease, it actually helps weed out a lot of people that aren't genuine. Or so I would say the select friends I do have from college are friends for life, in the sense that they actually have the genuine conversation. It's not, hey, how are you? And my answer is, everything's great, We actually have the relationship where honesty is everything to me. And so when my friends ask me, hey, how's life? I have a genuine answer, in the sense that there's this stuff that is going in the wrong direction health wise, but all the positive stuff I also share with them. And I don't have that judgment from them. And that is the best part.
True. And I just have one more question. So, we all have ups and downs in our lives, and I'm sure you have that too. How do you manage your bad hair days, your bad moods?
Usually I will go to mom or Priya, actually. Both offer a lot of insight. And they've also, both of them have seen me growing up from day one. And I've always had a very close connection to Priya as well. She's a year older than me, and she's always been in the same schools. She's always had my back. So usually first point is just talk it out with my mom or sister. Second point would be I do some writing, and sometimes it's negative writing, but because I feel like just putting the negativity on paper makes it, just get rid of it. Get it out of your body, And then third, I just look back at what I've already been through and how I got through it, and then just see, like, if I can, if it's a big problem, can I break it down into smaller parts? Okay, let's manage one thing today, and then we'll deal with the rest tomorrow.
Coming back to happy thoughts, right? Happiness. What really makes you happy, right? Now, what do you find happiness in?
Mainly just, family events, seeing milestones of my siblings, my parents. That is huge for me. Other happiness comes from just mentally growing in a positive direction. For me, brings me happiness. And then also just giving back to the Duchenne community, whether it is being a support for parents dealing with children with this disease, or people a couple years younger than me that are starting to deal with more breathing issues, and giving back to them in the sense that this is how I got through this, and if I can do it, you can do it.
There's a very good point that you mentioned over there, right? Duchenne muscular dystrophy, that you help the community out, right? So where can people really go? How can people really help, volunteer, whatever they can do, right? What would be the place for them to go and help out?
There still is Muscular Dystrophy Association, and there's also a lot of smaller organizations. So the one I give to is PPMD, and they focus on the research aspect of how to come up with, like, either medications or even machines that help. So usually I like funding the research side and the clinical side. but also there are not a lot of areas for people to grow in society, in the sense that a lot of people have discounted people with disabilities. So that's why I try so hard on the side, just to be, hey, like a success story. And this is possible. Like, tell your kids that even though this is holding them back, that they can still accomplish what they want to in this life. So there's both research, and then I just try to help with the social aspect, as in the last couple of years, funding for that has dried up.
And now we, wanted to ask the most, defining question that we've been wanting to ask. What do you think? Will the Detroit Lions make it to the Super Bowl this year?
As long as we keep playing with that grit that our coach brings to the table, I think we have a pretty big shot.
Rohit is a pretty, hardcore supporter of the Lions. We have watched games together where he gets super excited, with the Lions winning. Rohit, it's been incredibly, motivational for me, inspirational to listen to your life. So thank you for taking the time, to be with us and telling us some of your motivations. It has been truly inspiring.
I wanted to thank both of you for having me on.
Thank you, Ro. Thank you so much.
I'll close out with, a line from our favorite Sufi poet, Rumi. You're not a drop in the ocean. You're the entire ocean in a drop, Rohit. So thanks again. Have a good day.
Thank you.